What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Triple Threat Talk. I'm your host, Connor Ryan. Today is episode 21, January 1st. I hope all of you are having a great day today. Very fun episode for you all today. We got just some ball talk, no questions, no extra segments, just 10 games to talk about with some personal experiences to talk about. I went to the Celtics game on Friday with my good friend Andy, Kitty Clyde. Andy, I hope you're enjoying this episode if you're listening to it. And I also was at the BC Duke game on Saturday. So only one game to talk about on Saturday. But other than that, 3 games to talk about for Friday, a game to talk about on Saturday, 2 games to talk about on Sunday, and then 3 from Monday as well. I don't know why I labeled both of those as Sunday, but that is A-okay. If you enjoy the podcast, please like and subscribe. Follow me on X at Talkin' Triple. Follow me on Instagram at Talkin' Triple, and TikTok is back. TikTok is back, everybody. So please follow me on there at Triple Threat Talk 0. I enjoy it, so please follow me on TikTok. No extra points, really. I guess. I mean, we might as well just get right into it. So, first game on the docket: Celtics defeated the Magic 121 to Celtics won 121 to 94 over the Magic. As I said, I was at this game. First Celtics game of the year for myself. Very fun, very good experience with Andy. All in all, a very needed game. The way that they performed a couple nights prior against the Toronto Raptors, this was a needed game for the Celtics. The Magic came into this one. I know that they've kind of been on, not even kind of, they have been on a down spur in terms of their team performance. They originally were a top 4 team in the East, and now they are, I think, in 7th in the Eastern Conference, but still, like, one of the stronger teams in the East, in my opinion, because of their defensive intensity, because of Jamal Mosley and the job he has done coaching there. And all in all, was a game that I was very excited for, nonetheless. But the Celtics got the job done. Jason Tatum led the way, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Jaylen Brown, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. And Kristaps Porzingis, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. The Celtics, the main key, and I mentioned this in the last episode, the main key was the shooting for the Celtics. How are they going to rebound off of a really bad, embarrassing performance against the Raptors from a couple nights prior? They decided to shoot 46% from 3 on 37 attempts. They shot over 90% from the line, only 10 turnovers compared to the Magic's. Actually, the Magic had less turnovers with 8, but the Celtics overall just shot the ball a lot better. The Magic went 5-32 from 3-point. I think this game kind of allowed the Celtics to show, like, hey, when we are on, we are still the best team in the league. It was kind of the balance of performance in this game. Tatum shot really well, except from 3. Or actually, no, he shot pretty well from 3, 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. Brown played very well, even shooting 41.7%, but he got to the line very consistently and went 9 of 9 from the stripe. Drew played well. Derek White played well. All in all, was a very needed game from the Celtics in terms of total performance. Now, do I think the Celtics are completely back? No, because I will talk about another game that they had on Saturday in terms of their performance and the lack thereof in terms of the total performance against the Hawks. But I mean, when you go up against the Eastern Conference, I think kind of has always gotten the bad rep of, like, the West is like, oh, the West is so stacked, like da 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 da. I think the West is stronger in terms of a top to bottom conference, because when you have a team like the Phoenix Suns as the 10 seed, the Timberwolves as the 9, the Kings as an 8, and even the Mavs, who obviously are without Luka, as a 7 seed, that kind of speaks dividends in terms of, like, hey, this conference is very strong, very good. Like, even the Warriors, 11 seed, Spurs are a 12 seed, like, and the Pelicans, who have just been injury ridden all year, are a 14 seed. Whereas with the East, it's like the Bulls are a 10 seed. The Sixers, who are really struggling, are the 11 seed. And then it's just like Nets, Hornets, Raptors, Wizards. Now, and this has kind of been my opinion for, I'd say, the last couple of seasons, but more specifically this season than any. I think the Eastern Conference top 3 is stronger than the West top 3, but the West is just more complete. OKC, Houston, the Memphis Grizzlies, and then, or really, I think the top 3 teams, in my opinion, are the Thunder, the Mavs, and the Grizzlies in terms of top 3. With the East, you have the Cavs, Celtics, and Knicks. 3 teams who extremely talented, very solid coaching, just overall. And when they're at their best, they are 3 incredibly difficult teams to beat. Whereas I think there are flaws in the Grizzlies games. I think there are issues with the Mavericks at times, but I say they're a very complete team. And then the Thunder are the Thunder. So, sure, you could say like the Thunder match up very well against all 3 of those teams, as we've seen. Like, I think they're 4-1 against all 3 of those teams in terms of the total season. I know the last game of those 3 that they have is against the Celtics in Boston. So that should be very interesting. And that's also, they've done this so far without Chet. So I do think the Thunder kind of do help ramp up the intensity of the West and their balance, but I just don't know. I just think the 2 most, I don't want to say consistent, because obviously the Thunder have been the most consistent, but like, if you had like a mini tournament, I would, like, the Bucks have beaten the Thunder, the Knicks have put in good games. The Celtics were one bad quarter/half away from being fine and getting a solid victory in Oklahoma City. And then the Cavs have been arguably the best team in the NBA this season. So I do think that getting a win like this for the Celtics is huge. Obviously, it kind of reverts back to the performance that they had on Saturday against the Hawks. But you kind of needed that, especially after kind of the slump that they have been, especially shooting wise, in regards to the last couple of games. So big win for the Celtics. For the Magic, Cole Anthony, 23.7 rebounds. Wendell Carter Jr., 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Paolo Banchero, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. This is why I was so excited to go this game, because I knew Paolo would be back. But I was obviously expecting more from the Magic. But if the Magic shoot a normal game in terms of 3-point percentage, then I think it obviously is a lot closer. Now, I do still believe the Magic will be a threat for the next couple of seasons, but with the injuries that they've had, Mo Wagner being out, Goga Batadze not being able to stay consistently healthy for longer stretches, Franz Wagner being out, and now Paolo kind of coming back, I think they're kind of finding their footing again. But in terms of like a team performance, like, they have done very solidly. They are going to be I do think that they can creep back up into like that 5 slot, but it's just their offense. Their offense at times is very lackadaisical, or not lackadaisical, just isn't very effective, isn't very efficient. It doesn't really kind of make sense at times. Like, Paolo will have spurts where he can't miss. Jalen Suggs, when he is healthy, he helps really add that dynamicness, the fluidity to that offense. And Cole Anthony has really been on a surge as of late, in terms of ever since like the Miami Heat game where they were down and came back. He has been performing at the level that he was expected to. So I do think that the Magic have the potential to really be a threat in the playoffs. The question is more so, can they get to a solid position in the playoffs? I don't think they beat out any of the top four teams in terms of the Cavs, the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Bucks. But I do think that they're very much a team that you do not want to face in the playoffs. And I think that's kind of how it is for anybody in the current 5 to 7 slot. The Pacers, the Hawks, and the Magic. I'll talk about the Hawks in a little bit, but I don't think I talked about the Pacers at all. I mean, I talked about them in last episode, and just in terms of how high octane their offense is and how much value they bring in terms of their scheme, but they still aren't a team that you are going to be like, yes, we get to play the Pacers. Like I was very excited that the Celtics got to play the Heat last season in the playoffs. Why? Because the Heat haven't been performing as well. They didn't have Jimmy Butler, but it was just the aspect of like, okay, these are kind of the key pieces in this moment. But all in all, huge win for the Celtics and very needed in terms of kind of getting them back in the direction that they should be going in. So yeah, all in all, great game. Very fun experience, very good time, and yeah, great game. Let's move on to the next one. I don't really know the exact transition there, but yeah. Next game up, the Nuggets defeated the Heat 133-113. Jamal Murray led the way, 30.7 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Nikola Jokic, again with another triple-double. It just seems like it's every night at this point. 24 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, and Aaron Gordon, 16.6 rebounds, 3 assists. I understand that a lot of the Nuggets discourse as of late has just been like, will Jokic win MVP? Sure. Like, will Jamal Murray step it up? Understandable. Like, those are like the two big pieces of dialogue that have been created, I'd say, in the last couple of months. And one, I think Jokic, I do think it's a 2-horse race right now with Jokic and SGA in terms of MVP. Two, I think Murray has been stepping it up. But I think the most important piece for the Denver Nuggets is Aaron Gordon. I think he is very much the X factor for them because of what he can bring on the defensive side of the ball. As much as Michael Porter Jr. is taller, as much as Michael Porter Jr. is longer, you're not going to put him on the Kawhi Leonards, the LeBrons, the kind of those like a traditional 3, maybe a smaller 4 matchup. Like a Jason Tatum, Aaron Gordon is going to be the guy for that matchup. So I do think in terms of when it comes to just like the team, Aaron Gordon is incredibly valuable. He generally shoots at a high percentage, and sure, like those are majority like within 10 feet, but those are points. That's valuable makes and everything like that. 6 boards, 3 assists. Like he has the playmaking ability. He has the scoring ability. He is never really asked to get like 25 points a game, which I think it really does help him because it more so says, hey, like save your energy for the defensive side of the ball. We need you to help lock down like one of like their better players. And I think he's very much grown in that role because a lot of the conversation was when he was drafted was like, hey, when is he gonna like break out? When is he gonna like kind of step into his or like break out and like get into his own skin and kind of like have this moment of like, hey, I'm that guy. And I think we've really seen it, especially in Denver. Like he doesn't have to worry about being the number 1 scoring guy, really, or the number 2 or the number 3. Because of the presence of Jokic, he is able to have those help side, that weak side catch opportunities, get to the dunker spot and get there with ease. And then also with like Murray, he's kind of able to space out and he's able to hit the open 3 if needed, but he isn't the most consistent 3-point shooter, which is completely fine. And also with MPJ, he also benefits from those two because of their gravity. So the Nuggets are finding their stride. They definitely aren't in the downspin of what they were compared to the beginning of the season. Do I have them in the top three of the West? No, unless they possibly make a trade, but I don't know. I don't really know if they will, which is completely fine. Just a very big win, especially I think this was on the road in Miami for this one. Let me just it was, yeah. And I mean, as a team, shot nearly 50% from three. I'm glad that they're kind of they're trusting their three ball more. Like they have shooters on this team. Like we've seen Julian Strawther have moments where he is a knockdown shooter. Michael Porter Jr. shot 4 of 7 from three in this game. Jamal Murray isn't the most consistent 3-point shooter, but like if he's making them, then it's going to be a tough day for anybody that is facing it. So I do think the Nuggets are going to be a threat still, obviously barring a major injury. But this game really does kind of help provide for that case more than anything else. For the Miami Heat, Tyler Hero, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Bam Adebayo, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. And Jimmy Butler, in his first game back from suspension, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Now, here are my thoughts on the Jimmy stuff. I made the video, I made the take in the pod where I'm not that high on Jimmy Butler. I think people know that. If you listen, I think people know. If you I mean, the main thing is it's just I don't think the Heat have really a playoff chance, or I don't think they really have like a chance at a deep playoff run again. I don't think they ever will. Like with this kind of core, at least. I think they might if they were to go get like a different piece, but I don't really like the return value that the Heat would be getting in terms of the Jimmy Butler trades. But like he just doesn't move me. Like in clutch time, he's one of the best players, 100%. But a solidly above average defender, a average shot maker, not the best playmaker. Like it's a lot of those things that kind of push me away from Jimmy and oppose me from saying like, oh yeah, I trust Jimmy in terms of like I can trust Jimmy in this case. So and I understand like what he's doing is in terms of the contract side of things, what he's doing is wrong. Like he shouldn't be like publicly airing out like this dirty mail upon the Miami Heat and kind of like, oh, like they missed a payment of mine, like they missed this, they did this, da 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 da, whatever it is. I'm not saying like really any of that is. I'm not really saying any of that is like great stuff to talk about or to hear really. Like I don't really think anybody should, especially if you're getting paid and the amount that he's getting paid. I don't really think it's fair to have this kind of like negative attitude towards a team that is paying you that much money. But I do think that this era of the Miami Heat is over. I mean, during intros, during the starting lineup, he got announced, he got booed. The fans, I think, want him out. I think the front office is trying to do the best that they can to get him out. It's just the fact that they don't really have they don't have an exact suitor yet for Jimmy. I do think the best place for him is probably the Suns, but I don't really think the Miami Heat are going to be like, yes, we got Bradley Beal back in return, who is now coming off the bench for the Suns and not really contributing to the way that he should be. So I think that's kind of just like the way that the basketball world is working. I do think the Heat need to move on from him. What they get, I don't know. I don't think whenever I feel like the tough part with requesting a trade is as much as you want to get out of there, the team that is trading you wants the return value as well. They want to be able to say, hey, we were able to walk out, or not walk out, but like come back with a little bit of reward in this case. But it's the tough part is like you're not going to get like Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal and a first round pick. It's not guaranteed. Also, the Suns don't have a first round pick to like give out. So I don't think the Heat are going to be happy until the move happens, but I don't think they're going to be that happy with the return either. And they just need to figure it out. They really do. And I don't know if they'll be able to figure out with the addition that they add from Jimmy Butler, or maybe it's just a ton of draft compensation. And even then, it might not be from the best team to where it will like value, but obviously first round picks are first round picks. They're gonna be able to help in some way or another. So we shall see. Third and final game from Friday. The Minnesota Timberwolves went to New York and stomped on the Knicks' head, winning. Anthony Edwards, 36 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. Naz Reid, 23 points, 8 rebounds off the bench. And Jaden McDaniels, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. The Timberwolves have obviously had a very struggling season, but it's almost like if you took the Celtics for like this last like 15, 16 game stretch and expanded it 40 something games. There are games where the Minnesota Timberwolves do this. They absolutely curb stomp a team. They absolutely show that they have the roster and the coaching and the capabilities and the players to do what they need to do. But on the flip side, and I mean, we're going to see a game of the other side caliber in a little bit. You have a game where they just completely just wet the bed and do not perform to the level that they actually should be. And with that kind of comes the despairing trust. You see the amount of support that they got last year, and it was warranted. Like, Anthony Edwards was stepping into a superstar role, and he deservedly did that and is proving that he is a superstar. Karl Anthony Towns was the best wing or the best stretch big in the NBA last season. Rudy Gobert was able to lock down the middle. And then you had Jaden McDaniels, who was playing an incredible supporting role. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mike Conley playmaking. Just a bunch of like this ragtag group. Kyle Anderson was contributing. Like Naz Reid won Sixth Man of the Year. Like that team had all the pieces. And I don't think I'll say it was like the worst trade in NBA history. But you do have to question the fact of like why did they do that? I understand Karl Anthony Towns has a contract coming up. I understand that. But this team went to the Western Conference Finals. If it wasn't for Luka and Kyrie having two of the best series of their lives and just contributing play from Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr., if they don't have those games, then there's a possibility that the Timberwolves reach the finals, right? So with that, you almost kind of have to question like why, like I get it, like the business aspect, but Julius Randle isn't on like a long-term deal, and I don't think they're going to be signing him to a long-term deal, especially the way he's been performing. I mean, in this game alone, he provided 8 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists on 2 of 6 shooting. Like, it's not like he is coming into arenas every night and saying, like, yeah, I'm like a 20 and 15 performer every game. Like, he's not playing to the caliber that Cat was. He's also not the shooter that Cat was. He also doesn't have the size that Cat does. So I do think it is despairing to, especially if I were a fan of the Timberwolves, where it's like, hey, like we have games where we show up and are incredible and we can be one of the best teams in the league. Like they played the Celtics both games very close. They have played games with elite teams very close. But then you like look at their schedule and you say like losing to Golden State at home, losing at Detroit by 14. Let's see what else. Losing to the Hawks by double digits. Losing to the Warriors again at home by double digits. Losing to the Knicks by almost 40. Or by almost 30. Losing to the Warriors again, losing to the Kings at home, losing to the Rockets in OT at home, losing to the Raptors. Like there are a ton of quality wins that they have, but there are also just a ton of bad losses that they have. And so I just think there's so much influx with this team. When they are on, they are on, and when they are off, they are dark. They are not there, and it's been like that for the entire season. For the Knicks, I mean, Jalen Brunson, 26 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, and 2 steals on 39.1% shooting. OG Anunoby, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And Cam Payne in 18 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Cam Payne scored those 18 points in 13 minutes. He was the only one other than Deuce McBride who had 4 points to have a positive plus minus. I'm not saying Cam Payne is like the fix. Now I know like for the Knicks, but when somebody's shooting 70% in 13 minutes of play, 18 points, you almost have to wonder like what happened that they did to be taken out of the game. Like, like I've talked about it plenty of times on this podcast. The philosophy of Tom Thibodeau is, hey, I have 5 guys who are pretty damn good together. I'm going to play those 5 guys as much as I can. And I get that. But the importance of bench, like the importance of a bench, does that not value? Does that not matter? So you're without Mitchell Robinson, probably past the trade deadline, or that's what's being reported. You're not going to have him until after the trade deadline. Karl-Anthony Towns has a bone chip in his thumb that he's going to have to deal with for the rest of the season. Because, sure, he could get surgery, but then he'd be out for probably 2 months, maybe 3. I don't know. And if you're going to go in and play a team like Minnesota, who has been struggling for sure, and get this type of performance out, like Mikal Bridges didn't shoot well, Precious Achiuwa didn't shoot well, Josh Hart didn't shoot well, OG Anunoby and Cam Payne were the only ones that shot above 50%. Hell, they were the only ones that shot above 40%. I mean, I can't think of a bigger sign that says, hey, we need help. They shot 39% from the field. Sure, they shot 41.2% from 3, and they won the turnover margin by 6. Were pretty even in rebounds and assists, like yada yada yada, whatever it is. But like it's the aspect of if one of those 5 go down, which they did, that leaves 4. And Tibbs doesn't have enough trust in any of the other guys to say, You're good. We're good. We can win this without Jalen. We can win this without Mikal. We can win this without Cat. We can win this without OG. We can win this without Josh Hart. Clearly you don't. There's more and more evidence every day that I am seeing where I'm going, the Knicks are not a contender. Like they have like some very good wins. They do. But they also like very similar to the Timberwolves, losing to the Pistons at home, getting blown out by the Thunder at home, losing to the Magic without Paolo or Franz at home. What else? Like losing to the Hawks at home, losing to the Pistons again at home, getting blown out by the Mavs. But then they have games where it's like they beat the Nuggets by like nearly 30. They beat the Timberwolves in Minnesota by almost 30. Like it's these games where they have the team. They do. And then they just like blow it away sometimes. Like they just give up. And they don't have the performance that they need in order to win. And I know that's how the NBA is. It's like you're facing the best players. So if you aren't at your best, you probably aren't going to win. And the Knicks, I just feel like, haven't been performing at the level that they need to be. I know that they just beat the Hawks last night, but still, like they have to come in. Sure, they get to play the Nets. So not a lot of travel, but it's a back-to-back. And I don't know if they have, and Karl-Anthony Towns will be playing, so that's good. But like when are we, like I feel like the Knicks are having a lot of issues in terms of just roster build. And I think Cat will sign because they will most likely have the cap space to do so. But like OG Anunoby has a 5-year, $200 million deal. Karl-Anthony Towns is probably going to make an All NBA team, so he's probably going to be asking for a supermax. And I don't really think any of the other guys are going to be like, yeah, I'll be like Jalen Brunson and take like $100 million pay cut. But I don't know. I just don't. I'm not as worried about the Knicks as in terms of a contender as many people are, or as many people are in favor for. So next game, the one and only game from Saturday, the Hawks defeated the Boston Celtics 119-115. Trae Young led the way, 28 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Onyeka Okongwu, 19 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 blocks. Dyson Daniels, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, I'll like Jason Tatum, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. Jaylen Brown, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. Luke Cornett, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. Like, the performances are there. The Celtics should have won this game. It's as simple as that. Drew should have just dribbled the ball out, or shouldn't have just dribbled the ball out. He maybe should have took the layup. Just a bad pass, bad turnover led to points for the Hawks. They tie it up in OT. JB had a bad turnover. Drew shouldn't have fouled. I don't know. But this is like people are acting as if losing to the Hawks is the equivalent of losing to like the Wizards. It's not. Like Dyson Daniels shot nearly 80% from the field. Onyeka Okongwu had a very good game. DeAndre Hunter, like the Hawks are a very good team. Like they deserve a lot more credit than they get. Was it a bad loss? I'm not saying it wasn't. But people are acting as if like the Hawks are like a poverty franchise or currently a poverty team, as if they don't have Trae Young, who's an incredible playmaker and makes everybody on the court better. Onyeka Okongwu, who's a very young, talented, athletic center. Dyson Daniels, who's one of the best on-ball defenders and off-ball defenders in the NBA. DeAndre Hunter, who is the main competition for Peyton Pritchard in Sixth Man of the Year conversation. And Jalen Johnson, who is a really just a rising star. So bad loss, yes, but it was just the result of 2 or 3 plays that really made it seem like a horrible loss. It was a choke job. It's as simple as that. It was a choke job. It was not the result that people were hoping for. Because if you win this one, and then, like, if you win that one, and then obviously with the performance that they had yesterday against the Golden State Warriors, you kind of come out and say, Celtics are on a 3-game winning streak. Like, that's great. But guess what? They didn't. They didn't beat them. Like, both teams shot horribly from 3, both below 30%, but the Hawks just made more shots. It's as simple as that. They got to the line more. They had more assists, more rebounds, more blocks, more steals, or just more blocks, not as many steals. But I feel like the tough part is it very much is just a reacting world. It isn't so much like it's like you see it and you react. It's not a you see it, you analyze it, you break it down, and then react. Bad loss, yes. But people are calling this like the worst loss for the Celtics in the regular season. As if the Raptors game didn't happen. As if the collapse in OKC didn't happen. Like there are a lot of like other losses that we have seen and gone, well, that's the worst one. It's like we can't say every one is the worst when there's a clear worst. I would say so far it's the Raptors one. Like they just came out flat. They didn't seem like they cared as much. Whatever it is. This one was bad. Nonetheless. I would maybe have it in like the top 7, but not like they should have won this game. 100%. They had so many opportunities to close it out. Sam Hauser couldn't make a shot in this game. I know Jalen didn't play to his best, but like people are acting as if like Jaylen Brown is the sole reason they don't win this game. Like we had 3 players with over 20 attempts who all shot 35% or less. If Jason Tatum makes 2 more threes, if Derek White, like however you want to spin it or say it, the Celtics should have won this game. End of discussion. Shout out the Hawks. Really good team. But that was the only game I'm going to talk about from Saturday because I was at another basketball game on Saturday. For those of you that don't know, I work for BC Marketing, Boston College Athletics Marketing, and I help out with some of the scoreboard stuff. I help run ads and help with the setup and kind of just like the system for the Jumbotron in Conti Forum at Boston College. And I got the pleasure, I get to work some of the games, but there was one game I really wanted to work, and it was when Duke came to town to play Boston College. And I was fortunate enough to work it. So here is my thoughts on Cooper Flagg. He is going to be the number 1 pick. It's pretty by far and away. But I truly mean this when I say this. And I've seen a lot of very talented players with my own eyes. I saw LeBron in his first stint with Cleveland. I saw Nikola Jokic play last year. I've seen Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew. I've seen all the Celtics guys. I've seen Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Isaiah Thomas. Like, I've seen a lot of very good players play basketball. I don't know if a player has made my jaw hit the floor so fast as Cooper Flagg's did. He isn't a college player. He is an NBA player. You know the whole question of if you put Nikola Jokic on Kennesaw State, do they win the national championship? For some reason, Cooper Flagg I understand why he went to Duke, but they gave one of the most prestigious universities in college history, or in college basketball history, one of the most prestigious schools, the best player, and he is playing like the best player. It was mind-boggling, some of the stuff he did. He started off the game by going up for a block, or going up for defending a shot, and just missed the ball, and then kind of came down, was hurting, and it looked like it was very obvious his leg was hurting, and then kind of came down, airballed a mid-range shot, and then the overrated chance kind of came in. And then it switch flipped in his body that said, all right, cool. So this is how we're going to do it. He then went 9 of 12 shooting from the field. 1 of 3 from 3. He made 9 free throws on 11 attempts. But it was the control and the poise in which he did it. I have been a basketball fan for 15, 16 years of my life. I've seen a lot of good players. I'm not saying I'm a scout. I'm not saying I'm one of the insiders who knows, you don't know about this guy. Cooper Flagg will win MVP. The best player in the world conversation in 5 to 10 years, or within the next decade, will be Cooper Flagg or Victor Wembanyama. And I have full confidence in that. He is a man amongst boys. The scariest part about him is he turned 18 within the last couple months. It makes no sense. He is 6'9", and I was talking to my good friend Zach, and he was watching some of his stuff. He can play like he is 6'5", and he can also play like he is 6, or he can play like he's 7. He has great post-up ability. He has great feel, just overall great vision. He can get the ball around. He's extremely unselfish. He shoots well. If he gets anywhere near an average 37, 38% three-point shooter, the league is screwed. I know he's had some performances where they're how is that going to be number 1 pick? In the last week or two, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists against BC, 13.7 rebounds, 6 assists against Miami, 42.7 assists on 79% shooting against Notre Dame, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists against Pitt, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists against SMU, 24 points, 6 assists, 4 steals against Virginia Tech. He's the number one player, and he's the number one prospect. He is not human. He can jump out of the gym. He is a very solid, incredible defender. But it is his intangibles, it's his instincts, it's his perception of the game. He reads it so well. And I don't like, he does it with such ease too. Like, he is able to understand what the defense is going to do before it happens, react to it, and make the correct play. That is not something an 18-year-old should do. He should be like the stereotypical is hucking shots, rushing 3-pointers, trying to like get the highlights up there instead of going and making NBA level plays. He is so good. He had a double team on him. He read it, passed it out, catches it back, one dribble right, spin into his left for a layup and one. Next possession, he came down and like blocked a shot. Second half, he rejected a shot, got a technical foul called on him, and then like next possession, steals the ball and helps sets up the offense, catches it on the elbow, rips through, one dribble, LeBron-esque, just dunk. Right-handed, one-handed slam. 70% of that crowd was, or I'd probably say 60% of that crowd that game was Duke fans. And I'd probably say 80% of them weren't Duke fans, they were Cooper Flagg fans. He's an NBA player in college. Like, I thought Capture the Flag was like a facade. I was like, oh, like I think he'll be good. No, he's gonna be unreal. He will be one of the best players in the NBA. Like, he blows everyone out of the water from this past draft class. I think if people could, and there wasn't the, oh, hey, you have to do a year of non-high school, or like you have to be a certain age thing, he would have been the number one pick, by far. Easily. No questions asked. So, Cooper Flagg is legit, and I just needed to talk about it. All right, 2 games from Sunday. First up, we have the Bucks versus the 76ers. Bucks win this one 123-109. Giannis led the way, 34 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. Damian Lillard, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And Chris Middleton, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. These are the performances you need if you're a Bucks fan. Giannis is going to be your lead guy. He is going to be your engine. Your transmission is Damian Lillard. He is going to be the guy that helps ignite. He gets the crowd involved. He silences the crowd with a long 3 ball. And then Chris Middleton is going to be your breaks. He is going to help slow you guys down and get you kind of reset and everything and hit a clutch shot, clutch mid-range, whatever it is, get you a basket. When the Bucks play like this, they are a top team in the East. No doubt about it. And it shows. I mean, they're 4th in the East, 24-17. They've had some moments where they've struggled, but this is the kind of stuff that won the NBA Cup. Giannis is the focal point of this team. No doubt about it. He is a top 3 player in the NBA. Easily. Damian Lillard is one of the best scorers in NBA history. Sure, he doesn't have the most pure mid-range, but if you need a basket, he can get you a basket. Chris Middleton, if he gets to a spot, is very deadly. And their balance that they have, Brook Lopez provides good minutes, Bobby Portis provides solid minutes, Andre Jackson has really grown, Taurean Prince has found a much better role. I know AJ Green was out of this matchup, but when he's playing, he adds the long ball threat. The Bucks are really good. Like, the Celtics were very fortunate to sweep them in the season series. Like, I'm kind of shocked that they did. But the Bucks deserve a lot of credit in terms of the team that they have. They're a legit team. And I understand that they are kind of looking at, like, do we make a move? Do we do this? Do we do that? As long as you have Giannis and Dame, the Bucks are going to be fine. If you have those two being able to combine for nearly 60 points a night, they're going to be just fine. They're going to be fine. And I don't think I could say anything more differently than I can for the 76ers. Tyrese Maxey, incredible game. 37 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists on 50% shooting. That is really good. Kelly Oubre Jr., 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Ricky Council the fourth, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. 76ers aren't going to do anything. They're stuck in purgatory. Actually, no, they're closer to hell than they are purgatory. Joel Embiid is on a fat contract. You just paid Tyrese Maxey, and you obviously just paid Paul George. Tyrese Maxey, I'm not worried about. What this little rant has nothing to do with Tyrese Maxey. I think he's an incredible scorer. I think he's an incredible player, and just a budding superstar. This rant has everything to do with Paul George and Joel Embiid. I understand health isn't really something that you can control that easily, but it just seems like those two are just completely just not, are just out of it. I wasn't worried about the 76ers coming into the season. I never really want to say those things because, one, they sound ostentatious. They sound like, oh, you're just saying that, dude. You're just saying that. It's just the truth. I don't know like what they thought was going to happen when they gave unfortunately, two of the most injury-ridden superstars, or two of the most injury-ridden players of the last decade, the same team. Especially when you give Paul George 4 years, $200 million. Like, what? What? Sure, you can say Jaylen Brown's contract isn't great. I agree. It's like 5 years, $300 million is a lot of money. But guess what? He at least shows up. He at least plays. Paul George doesn't. Like, there are very few games. We have barely seen any games this season where it's like, all right, we got all three, and all three performed. It breaks my brain. I don't know. The point is, the 76ers, I don't think are going to make the playoffs this season. If they do, they're going to be like a lower seed play-in team at the best. Joel Embiid can't really, like, he is at the Kamaru Usman stage in his career where, sure, he was great. He had this incredible run. Guess what? He can't walk without discomfort. Paul George is the new Celtic Shaq. Celtic Shaq was like a top tier meme. Like, it would be completely different. Like, people would say it's a bad contract. The only way people wouldn't say it's a bad contract is if Paul George went like 25, 8, and 6. Because if you're paying somebody for 4 years, $200 million, they better get like a couple All-Star appearances. They better do this, better do that. The one thing that 76ers want is a championship. That's all they want. They won't get it. Like, they just won't. They won't happen with this team. If you were to hand, like, they are very fortunate that the three players that they get to build around is a incredibly talented, unreal ability scoring combo guard who has solid playmaking, one of the best three-level scorers / two-way players of the last decade, and an anomaly, awkward, and a true, like, difference maker in terms of a big man. Like, one of the most dominant players in the modern NBA. But if you're going to tell me, hey, outside of those guys, your team is Kelly Oubre, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, Andre Drummond, Caleb Martin, Kenyon Martin Jr., Andre Drummond. Like, nobody's going into that team and saying, yes, we want that team. We want to be a part of that team. Unless you have those three. Like, if those three aren't there, no duo, no trio, realistically is saying, I want that team. It's a lot of injuries. It's a lot of just mismanagement. It's a lot of just negative players on that team. Sixers need help, dude. And I'm fine if they're downfalling. That's fine with me. Last game up from Sunday, the Los Angeles Clippers defeated the Lakers 116-102. The Clippers have really exceeded my expectations this season. I was extremely worried that they were, because I think the Thunder have the rights to their pick, and I was like, God damn it. The Clippers aren't going to be good. The Thunder are going to get Cooper Flagg, yada, yada, yada. But no, they've really been exceeding expectations. I think they are currently like fifth the Western Conference right now. Let me double check that. Correct. I am correct. Ivica Zubac, 21 points, 19 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. James Harden, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 12 assists, 1 steal. Norman Powell, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. Kawhi Leonard, 19 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 1 steal. The most underrated core four in the NBA. Ivica Zubac has been playing incredible this season. James Harden is back to Philly James Harden. Norman Powell is like The name just doesn't scream all-star, but he deserves to be recognized as an all-star. And Kawhi Leonard is Kawhi Leonard. If you get 19 points on 69% shooting from Kawhi Leonard in 24 minutes of game, and then you get 3 other guys who put up 20 plus points, that's winning. That's winning basketball. Kevin Porter Jr., 8 points. Derrick Jones Jr., 9 points. It's at that point where you say, all right, cool. We just need the balance from the bench. And that is huge. That is massive. The Clippers, Tyronn Lue is doing an incredible job. I think the main reason, though, is the introduction from Jeff Van Gundy. His defensive strategy has kept them in games. He has been they are the best balance of high intensity defense with a very solid high octane offense. They are so good. He is bringing that intensity on the defensive side of the ball with the pick and roll of James Harden and Zubac, with Norman Powell's elevation of his game, with Kawhi Leonard kind of coming back in and finding his footing and having a performance like this. This is an awesome team. The Clippers are so much fun to watch. Steve Ballmer believes in this team. The Intuit Dome is so cool. The Wall, they believe in this team. I'm believing in this team. I think the Clippers could win a playoff series. Legitimately. It might have just been a Paul George issue. I don't know. But this is a team that has the makeup to be legit in percent. And they get to play their crosstown rival and kick their ass. If I'm a Clippers fan, I'm stoked. If I'm a Lakers fan, I'm embarrassed. LeBron before the game. This is a home game for us. LeBron after the game. We have to play nearly perfect every game to win. Did you guys play perfect? Let's see. Let's take a look. 50% from the field. Not bad. 33.3% from 3. Not good. You lost the turnover margin by 3. You got out-rebounded and out-assist. You had 6 blocks, 6 steals. They had 4 blocks and 12 steals. I'm going to do some math in my head real quick. 4 plus 12, that's 16. 6 plus 6 is 12. You got outstocked by 4. LeBron James, less than 50% of the field, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Great game, LeBron. Anthony Davis, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks on 14 attempts. 35.7% shooting. That's not good. Yeah, it's not good. They don't play at a high pace. They don't try and rush things. So they don't really get a ton of shot attempts off. If you do that, then guess what? You aren't really if you don't play at a high pace and you don't really you don't make a lot of the shots, then that's not really winning basketball. That doesn't really get you wins. I think JJ Redick is a great coach, but the scapegoat is gone. D'Angelo Russell isn't there. I don't think JJ Redick is the one to blame. Rob Pelinka has done an incredibly horrible job creating this roster. Rui Hachimura isn't a tier 2 or 4, tier 3 or 4 player. Austin Reeves is very solid. He didn't really shoot that great this game. Anthony Davis, the blame is on him this game. He didn't defend Zubac well, and he got defended very well by Zubac. Dorian Finney-Smith isn't playing well. Shake Milton isn't playing. The Lakers need to figure it out. I don't know what it is, but they need to make their shots. They don't have truly prolific 3-point shooters. Austin Reeves can shoot the ball, but he isn't knocked down. Dalton Connect, I think, can become that knockdown guy. Max Christie has been playing well, but he isn't a knockdown guy. The crazy part to me is that the Clippers had 4 guys in double figures. The Lakers had 6. The tough part was that all 4 of the Clippers guys had 19 plus points. There were 2 guys on the Lakers that had 19 plus. So, great win for the Clippers. Horrible loss for the Lakers. The Lakers aren't good anymore. Hot take, but the LeBron sexuals will tell you otherwise, for sure. No doubt about it. Final day, 3 games from Monday. First off, Celtics defeat the Warriors 125-85. Yep, you heard that. Belt to ass. B2A. Sorry, excuse my French. It's not really French. It's just a bad word. Jason Tatum, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. Kristaps Porzingis, 18.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Jaylen Brown, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Peyton Pritchard, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Didn't even see the block that Pritchard got, but that's hype. Celtics had a heartbreaking loss. What do? They kick your ass. Simple as that. If you face the Boston Celtics after an embarrassing loss, you're probably going to get blown out by 30 at least. Embarrassing loss to them on last Wednesday. What do? They run the Magic out of the building. Embarrassing loss to the Hawks on Saturday. What do? They just decide to decimate the Golden State Warriors. Like, it wasn't even close. The Celtics were up 15 at half. By the end of the third quarter, they were up 34. 34. What was the philosophy, you ask? The Celtics shot the ball as they should. 50+% from the field, 20 of 48, which is 42% from three. They had less turnovers. They out-rebounded. They had more assists, 9 blocks compared to their 3, 8 steals compared to their 8. They only gave up double digits to 2 players. Now, I know that there's the contrary side that says the Warriors didn't shoot well, which is correct, but the Warriors weren't stopping them. The Celtics made 17 more field goal makes than the Warriors did. That is ridiculous. And they had less free throw attempts. The Celtics just weren't missing. This was the exact game that they needed. I think if they are able to rally off of this, 3-point shooting wise, Pritchard 2 of 6, not great. Jason Tatum, please stop taking as many threes as you do. Kristaps Porzingis 3 of 7. Derek White 2 of 4. Sam Hauser 3 of 6. Jaylen Brown 1 of 3. That's fine. Drew Holiday 2 of 3. Al Horford 1 of 3. Baylor Shireman 1 of 2. Jordan Walsh 2 of 3. By the way, get Jordan Walsh rotational minutes, please, for the love of God. He is a wing. He adds defensive value, and he can hit spot up shots. Please, for the love of God. I'm sorry I'm talking so fast. But the fact of the matter is, this is the team. This is Celtic basketball. If you face it, if any team faces this in the playoffs, they're done. They're gonna lose. It's as simple as that. Like, this was the team at the beginning of the season that were saying they figured out basketball and it's boring. They didn't figure out basketball. They went through a slump, and that's all it's been. They're in the middle of a shooting slump. Thank you to Jordan Walsh Muse on Twitter. That's my GOAT right there, because he and I talked, and he said if the Celtics for the last 10 plus games even shot 5% better than they had been, I know they shot 27% from 3 or 20% from 3 against the Thunder. If they shot 25% from 3, they win that game. If they shoot 5% better, then nobody's worried about this team. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. They aren't shooting well. The moment they start shooting well, this game, it's a wrap. 40 and 20 is the goal. If you don't know the 40 and 20 theory, I don't know how many, but it's like the last 20 NBA champions after 60 games, they were 40-20, better than 40. They reached 40 wins before they reached 20 losses. That is the NBA championship caliber. That is the measuring stick. The Celtics get to that, they're good. They're good. They're gonna be fine. Okay? They're gonna go on a win streak. Celtics' upcoming schedule. Let's take a look. They face the Clippers, who they decimated earlier in the season. They play the Lakers on a back-to-back. Hopefully, they either save... I think they'll probably play Al for the Clippers game and then save Kristaps for the Lakers game. Then they play the Mavericks, who I think will be without Luka. Then they host the Rockets, should win. Host the Bulls, should win. Go to New Orleans to play the Pelicans, should win. And then they have a 2-game road stretch against the Sixers and then Cleveland. The Cleveland one, I think, is the first loss that I truly see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you rattle off 7 more wins in a row, nobody's questioning the Celtics. If you go in and beat the Cavs, go 9 straight wins, then the Mavs come to you. Luka might be back, but still, make that 10. I know I'm a Celtics fan, and I know I'm a Celtics, hyper person, but I truly believe this team can go on a 10-game win streak, no problem. And this is the time to do it. Before the All-Star break, and then in March are the 2 best times to have a long win streak. Here's why. If you go on a big win streak, you keep the momentum going into All-Star break. And then you get a week worth of rest. That's awesome. Let players heal. Let players go where they need to go, whatever it is. And then in March, you say, all right, that's where we clinch a spot somewhere. whether it be the 2 seed, the 1 seed, we clinch the Atlantic Division. I don't know what it is. But if you clinch, then April becomes a lot easier. And you can say, all right, we're going to coast a little bit. Jason, you're going to play this game. Jalen, you're going to play this game. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But if the Celtics play like the way they did on Sunday, or on Monday, it's a wrap. For the Warriors, they need to figure it out. They are 9-18 in their last 27 games. They start off the year 12-3. Pretty bad to be 9-18. They are, I think, a play-in team right now. Now, I know a lot of it has to do with injuries. Like, Steph hasn't played as many games as he should. Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga. But still, I just think they need to figure it out. Nonetheless. Oh my God, Celtics have a 6-game home stretch to start March. That's fire. That's fire. They also have a 6-game road stretch to end March. That's not that chill. It's not that chill. But those are games I'm seeing we can all win. I wouldn't be mad about that. Anyway, 2 more games. Grizzlies defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves 108-106. Desmond Bane, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Jaren Jackson Jr., 24 points, 11 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Ja Morant, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. Grizzlies finding their way. They've had some health issues, but this is a huge win for them. Coming back from double digits down in the fourth quarter to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, who I will get to that little bit in a second, but having a game like this for them is massive. I mean, when you are on primetime television playing against a team that should be better than they are, and you are able to not only beat them in clutch time, but to also erase a massive deficit that you were in and just rip their hearts out, that is a satisfying win. So, I mean, shout out to the Grizz. They're my team. They're my favorite team out of the West. I just love Ja. I love their I love their team. I love their dynamic. Taylor Jenkins, I think, is a very solid coach. Though at times he does show that he still has stuff to learn. But still, I do think the Grizzlies are a legit threat coming out of the West. Now, the Wolves, as I said, you have the games where they look like an unreal team. Like they're going to be back in the Western Conference Finals. But then you have a game like this, and you're just embarrassed for them. It's as simple as that. Like, I don't know like what is going on. I don't know if it's like an identity issue. I don't know if it is just because of losing Karl Anthony Towns, but it's the idea that they don't have this true balance within themselves. Naz Reid, 29 points, 8 rebounds. Anthony Edwards, 32 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Not worried about those two. Julius Randle, 5 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 0 steals, 2 blocks. He shot 2 of 13. That's 15.4%. That ain't good. That isn't good whatsoever. They shot below 35% from 3. I mean, the Grizzlies shot 21%. But too many turnovers. Timberwolves need to figure it out. And they, unfortunately, are going to be without Dante DiVincenzo for a good amount of time. He's out indefinitely with an injury. This is what pressure does. Makes teams crack. And the Wolves are cracking. They're showing their true colors, and they're not wolves. They're puppy dogs right now. Final matchup. The Cleveland Cavaliers defeated the Phoenix Suns 118-92. If you don't know already, the Cleveland Cavaliers are legit. So here is kind of the disparity part that I find so interesting. They're very similar to the Celtics in the way that of their offense, in the way that high volume shots, high volume threes, move the ball around, being able to stretch the floor with 4 or 5 guys, whatever it is. But here is really the interesting part. Suns only had one guy, or in terms of total, like actual legit minutes, one guy who shot below 40%. It was Ryan Dunn, 2 of 7. Kevin Durant, 9 of 16. Tyus Jones, 5 of 11. Devin Booker, 6 of 14. Not great, but not horrible. But then you look at the Cavs. They shot nearly 20 more attempts than them from the field and shot exactly 20 more attempts from 3. That is basketball. That is winning basketball. If they are going to shoot 40% from the 3, Also taking care of the ball, only giving up the ball 8 times, 8 turnovers. They out-rebounded them by 16, more assists, 10 steals compared to the 3 that the Suns had. The Cavs are going to be a legit problem. It's as simple as that. They had 5 players in double figures, and then four more players with 8 points or more. If Donovan Mitchell doesn't score 30 points and he gives those 4 players one more bucket, they have 9 players in double figures. That is ridiculous. That is winning team philosophy basketball. And that's what makes them so good. Is they have so much plug and play in the lineup. They have the Garland and Allen focus lineup. They have the Mitchell and Mobley focus lineup. The crazy part about this game was that they did this without Karis LeVert, without Isaac Okoro, without Evan Mobley. Those are 3 high-value players for the Cavs. And they just dog-walked the Suns. If you don't know, you better know. The Cavs are a legit threat to winning an NBA championship this season. So, for the Suns, Kevin Durant, 23 points, 7 rebounds. Devin Booker, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Tyus Jones, 13 points, 4 assists. They got a lot to figure out. I think Nick Richards was a great trade for them, only giving up Josh Okogie and a couple second-round picks. But I do think that their offense is just so delayed. Sure, the Celtics shoot a lot, so do the Cavs, but high volume is the key now. High volume, long misses, offensive rebounding, being able to get those second chance points. Those are winning keys in the NBA. And we have 2 teams that I think have mastered that in the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Both of their defenses are solid. Very good. Both are very good defenses. But it's their offense that drive them so much further than other teams. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please follow me on all my socials, Instagram and X at Talkin' Triple, on TikTok at Triple Threat Talk 0. And yeah, I hope you all have an incredible day. Incredible week. I will see you on Friday. Today's player is going to be Jody Meeks. What a guy. I will see you all on Friday for the next episode. Have a great week. Peace out.